called downloads. And so what I'm going to do is find the data that I need and add it into my downloads folder, and then I'm going to copy it over or extract it over into my data folder to work from. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to the West Virginia GIS Tech Center, and the first thing I'm going to look for is a digital elevation model, a DEM. And there's a bunch that are in here. The one I'm going to use is this 30 meter from 1999. And once I've found it, I can click on it here and see more about it and whatnot. But I'm just going to go straight over here to the little download link.
It's not showing up.
Oh, man. Got to do all this in another window. This just about guarantees that the Zoom thing's not going to work right. I'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way here. If I get time, I'll put together some slides more traditionally for you. But you can, by all means, video this. So let me go back here just a couple clicks. West Virginia GIS Tech Center. I look for a digital elevation model. From that, I got this list. This is the one that I'm interested in here.
I'm sorry, what did you click to get the digital elevation model?
I typed in digital elevation model.
Okay, thank you.
I can click on this and I'll get more information about it, but as I'm more familiar with the site, I know that it's easier just to come right over here to this downloads button and click, and here's the different options that I have. A grid format, an image format, and a USGS seamless distribution. I'm going to download the grid format, GCS, NAD83. And then once I do that, you see I've got a couple different options here. And these are ones that you can download. And this is the one I'm going to download here, my UTM-83 zip. I click on it. Now I've got to figure out where I want to put it. I want it to be on my desktop. And I want it to be in my downloads folder that I made, just specifically for this project. I'm going to save it. That's good. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to start looking for my land cover. Now, I told you guys if you want to use other land cover, you can. The caveat being, I'm not going to go through the effort to help you figure out what all the different land classifications are and all the different ways that land is classified on all those different data sets. I'm going to use one. I encourage you to use the same one. It'll do pretty much what you need, and it's easy to work with. And it's called the GAP land cover data set, so I'm just going to type GAP in the search box, and lo and behold, there's my land cover West Virginia GAP. Again, going straight to the download. I've only got one option, UTM NAD27. And I'm going to save it into my downloads just like I did the other one. Now, if you remember back to my little scenario, I was looking at which three counties have the most habitat. It was sort of my generic question that I was asking. So I'm also going to need counties. So I'm going to go back up here now and go counties. And I got 1 to 24,000. And I noticed that this is also a NAD27, which is what my land cover data set's in. So I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to put it in the same place as the other two. And they're done. At this point in time, it's about 12 minutes after 7, and I've got all the data together. Yes?
The count, I'm sorry, I didn't see what you clicked on the left. Which one?
the one to 24,000. I just
Okay.
went over here and downloaded it.
All right, thank you.
You can use the one to 100,000. It's just going to be a little portion aligned. That's all. Okay, so I've got the data that I'm looking for. I'm going to just go ahead and close this up because if I need to, I can always go back. I'm going to move those folders that I made on the screen you can't see back over here so that we can see them. Open up my downloads folder and you see I've got 3 zip files, and I'm just going to unzip them into my data folder. Extract all.
So forget the state park boundaries, all that stuff?
Well, I don't need that for what I'm doing.
Okay, you're doing something
Yeah,
else.
I'm doing it very specifically. Remember my generic question was the National Geographic Channel is doing a flying squirrel show and they want to know what 3 counties in West Virginia have the most habitat.
Mhm.
So I've got to mock out the habitat and then I've got to figure which counties have the most. All right, so I'm going to browse my location here because I want to have this where I want it. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and right below my downloads there's a data folder. I'm going to click on it one time so that it's selected and it shows up down here. I'm not going to open it, just going to click on it so that it shows up down here, and I can hit select folder, and if I check this box it'll show me when it's done, but I don't want to see it yet, so I'm just going to hit extract and leave that unchecked. Runs fine. I'm going to go up to the next one, the land cover, extract all. I look here, my destination is now where it was. I'm going to browse because I want it to be in the data folder. Same scenario, selected it,
That's your digital elevation model, the NED.
and then I'm going to extract it. Something didn't look right there. Oh, that's good. Alright, now I'm going to go to my county boundaries, extract all, browse, desktop, data, select, extract. So at this time, I should have everything I need in here. If I open this up, you'll see I've got 2 folders and I've got this county stuff. And that's pretty much all I need to know about that. For now, I can go into the software. So I'm going to go over here and find my ArcGIS software. I'm looking for ArcMap. And there it is. Now, there's a couple of opportunities here to do some stuff wrong. The first one is, if it asks you about making pyramids, go ahead and make them. Because as we're navigating around, it'll just slow everything down if we don't. So we'll go ahead and make them once we get started. I'm going to make that data folder there sort of my default folder. I'm going to stick my map document in there once I make it. And I have made an arbitrary decision that my entire project is going to be in NAD 27. The reason is I know 2 of my data sets are in NAD 27. And NAD 27 is a perfectly fine. NAD 27, a projected coordinates of UTM Zone 17 North NAD 27 is fine for all West Virginia. So there's not a problem with that. Just because it's an older projection doesn't mean it's not going to work. However, judging by how long we've sat here waiting on ArcMap, I'm a little bit concerned about that. This really makes, okay, there we go. I'm going to have to slide this back over so you guys can see it here once it finishes loading. It's loaded up on my other screen. So I always get this sort of, getting started thing here, and I always just cancel it. Because I don't want to get pinned into anything in particular. I just want an open software environment to work from, and that's pretty much what I've got. So the first thing I'm going to do is go File, and I'm going to go Save As, and I'm going to find my folder, which is on my desktop, and it was called Data, And there it is. So I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to call it Northern West Virginia Flying Squirrel Map. And we're good. Okay, next up, add in my data. So I'm going to go right up here straight away and just go start adding stuff in. And this is not the location where my data is at, so I'm going to go over here and make a folder connection. Making a folder connection by clicking on this little folder over here that's got this black plus on it in the add data, what do you call that thing? GUI. And then I'm going to go back over here to my desktop and I'm going to select that. Now when I click my drop down, I should have my desktop and I should have all the folders on there. There is my data folder. And inside that is everything that I need. So this looks to be in NAD 27, so that's what I want. Now the reason I'm pausing here and not just chucking them all in there at random is the default, the projection of this map is going to be whatever I put in first. So if I put in something first that's in the projection I want, that's one less thing I got to change. So since this is the right one here, I'm going to add it in. And then I'm going to go right immediately back and add in the other two. I'll add in the gap data. Yes, I want to make pyramids. I'm expecting a message of warning here about the projection, because as you recall from when we did this earlier, this data does not have the projection defined. We know what it is. It tells us on the web page, it tells us on the file name, but it doesn't actually have the spatial reference intact. So I know I've got to fix that one. So before I add anything else in, I'm going to go up to Toolbox, because I roll old school style. I don't like using the search box. Search box is for rookies.
Won't let me transfer it over. Let me see. Oh, because that's...
So I'm going to go into Data Management Tools and Projections and Transformations, and I'm going to go look for Define Projection. And I'm using the Define Projection tool because I'm not changing the projection, I'm simply defining it. I know what it is, it's just not labeled correctly. And so the feature I'm going to put in is going to be my gap data set, my coordinate system. I'm going to take a shortcut here and click this layers folder and click this, because this is what the other one is, which is the same thing. So instead of having to look it up, I can just do that. I could have also went up here under projected coordinates, UTM, NAD 27, zone 17 north, and found it that way, but since the other layer is in the right stuff, that makes it easier. Alright, so I've selected that, I click OK. It takes a little bit of time, but remember, if you end up with a new file, you did something wrong, because this just changes the label on the file. It does not make anything new. Alright, going back to add data. I'm not finally finished there. And I'm going to go add my NED UTM, which is my elevation model. And yes, I'm going to let it make pyramids as well. Making pyramids increases the total volume of your data by about 50%, but it makes it a more usable file. This is less of a problem with some newer software, newer things that they got out, than it is with this. I'm getting a warning here because this is not in the right projection. I'm just going to click close because I know that, and I'm going to have to fix it. So get rid of that create features thing that popped up there. My data is now in here. Now I'm going to have to project it. So I'm going to come over here, click on the project tool. I'm going to input my data set, which will be my... Now there I made a boo-boo. You guys know what I did?
Shouldn't you define?
No, it's defined, it's just wrong, it's not in the right projection. But it's also a raster data set. And so this project tool down here, that won't work on rasters. You've got to take a step up to this section
Convert.
right here, and you have to find project raster. All right, so now that I got the project
Not
raster,
convert raster?
what's that?
Is it convert raster or project raster?
Project raster. It does the exact same thing as the project tool, but it's designed to work with rasters. The project tool will not work on a raster data set. The define projection tool will, because all it does is change the label. Okay, so now I get to put my input raster, which is going to be my elevation model. And there's what it's currently listed is, NAD 83 UTM Zone 17 North. What coordinate system do I want? I'm going to go down here and select it. Again, I'm just going to go to my layers, and I'm going to pick NAD 27 because that's what my other layers are. Click OK. And now it asks for a transformation, and I've got one here, NAD 27 to NAD 83. I make sure it's selected. I'm going to take a pause here and look to see where I'm sending this thing. It looks like somewhere in the bowels of the file system of my computer where I'll never be able to find it in the event that I actually need it. So I'm going to go back to my desktop data folder, and I'm going to make it NAD 27 LE. So I know that's my NAD 27 elevation data. I'm going to hit save. I just changed the stuff in this box here. And all I got to do at this point in time is click OK. Now this could take a little while. When I'm done, I'll have a brand new data set over here in my table of contents, and that data set will be the same as my West Virginia NED UTM 83 elevation layer, except it'll be in NAD 27. And so as soon as it finishes, I will remove the other one because I don't want it there, I don't need it there, it's only going to be in the way.
Can you repeat what to do with the elevation file, layer?
You mean when I did the project raster tool?
Yes.
So to use the project raster tool, you just put the elevation layer in,
Which is
and then the next box down, it'll tell you what it is, and the next one down, you select what you want. And if you go over to the right and select, you'll have the option there for layers. I'll pop that up now that it's finished here and show you again just real quick.
Okay.
All right.
Project.
So in this box here,
Yep.
the top one, I would put in my raster,
Which is the NED.
and so I'll go back and put in the one that I need to change. You now see the coordinate system that it's in.
Yes.
The next box I'm going to change is this one, the output coordinate system. And when I click on this, I could go up here and I could go into projected coordinates. I could go down here and find UTM. I could go down here and find NAD 27 and go all the way
Mine
down.
doesn't have anything.
Hmm?
When I click here, it doesn't have a pull-down menu.
You have all
XY
your
coordinate.
tools turned on.
Maybe not. Maybe that's what it is. That would be in, where would that be? Which one of these pull-downs? Geoprocessing?